Hey, we're live, and there is John St. Omer, man. You popped right in at 3, just like you said you would.
Hey. Hello, hello, hello.
How you
How
doing,
you
sir? We're live for our millions and billions of fans served.
doing? What
I
were we up to? About 1 billion, 1.5 billion?
Yeah, we're 1.45 right now, so
Okay.
we're trying to do our best, man. Welcome everybody, Adams and Brewski. We got John St. Omer here. I'm in Charlotte. John, you're in the Philadelphia region.
Yes, sir.
My brother Matt from the Bostonian Empire up there is going to be joining us very soon. Today is called the Say Anything episode because we are welcome to say anything, and we have open topics. John invited you last minute, so thank you very much for joining. I jumped onto this in the background here. I don't normally play anything, and I don't know if you'd be able to hear it, but when my brother comes on, we're kind of geeks with music, and so I was going to do a transition, and there he is. All right.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, Mr. Omer, how you doing? St. Omer.
I'm doing mighty fine. How about yourself?
Doing wonderful, man. It's always great to see you. You always got the energy, the smile, the glasses. Classy.
We all three of us have something in common. We're all three blind people.
Exactly. It's good to see
Hey,
you.
bro,
John.
I was just catching up with John and said that this is the Say Anything episode, open topics, and just randomly I fell upon, well, about a year ago when we started this, I fell upon a YouTube channel, but it's a DJ station out in, I think, New Zealand or Australia and the show is called Like a Version. Have you ever heard of it?
No,
but you're going to tell us
All right.
what it's about, right?
Well,
like a
they have
virgin.
like hundreds
Like
and
a version.
hundreds of local bands or sometimes very popular bands that come visit their studios and just cover a song. And so,
Okay.
and this one I was just listening to. I've been listening to this one. I don't want to give it away. And it's the transition of all transitions. You'll have no idea what song it is, but when it kicks in, it's going to take just 1 minute. I thought I'd play it, and I think that you'll be able to hear it if I turn it up. So I'm going to play it.
Trying to fix my thing here.
No, we can't hear it.
Can't hear you.
Nope.
Over this.
Can't hear it.
Can't hear it that well, bro.
No.
Hopefully it'll come back on the replay. So it's this group called Triple One, and they're covering Cyndi Lauper's Time After Time.
Oh, okay.
And they're like rap, and the singer, this guy's got an awesome voice, and it is awesome. And I got all jazzed up about it, and I said, hey, why don't we just start this random episode with a random transition that I thought was pretty cool. So welcome. I really hope that because sometimes we can't hear ourselves, but I hope that our millions of fans can hear it. But we'll find out afterwards.
We'll find out.
Well,
You didn't get my reference, bro, earlier. You said
Raise the Roof.
Does John Raise the Roof? No, Say
Raise the
Anything.
Roof.
Wasn't that the movie?
Yeah.
Boombox.
Did you? That's right. Did you? On Canva,
That's what I was
on
trying to do.
Canva, I made our banner. So I'll upload it here in a minute.
One of my favorite all time though is that Phil Collins, Against All Odds.
Oh yeah, so good.
Mm.
So good. I love that.
It's a chance I gotta take. I'm not gonna sing.
Come on, do it, man. Do it.
You know, that's just a great piece. Great piece. Sometimes I think for me, music inspires me a lot, and I start
Mm.
my morning off that way. In my household, three of us is getting ready in the morning. Me and my two boys, and we have probably 2, 3 different genres playing, and it just. But they're all almost all similar, and sometimes will play one that we like, and we all cut off the other ones and just listen to that one version. It's yeah, I tell you, it sets your tone for your day. If you haven't tried it, but just start your day off with something you love, music.
I love that. And you're doing it with your kids. You know what I mean? Like that's you couldn't get better than that.
Yeah.
I used to crank it up on my alarm when I wake up, and when the kids get up early, and just keep the music going. Let me
And
share my screen real quick, and
That's a
I'll
good.
and
That's
what's
a
because
good.
great
that's
though,
the
you know,
Say Anything movie is by Cameron Crowe, and he also did Singles. He also did Almost Famous and Jerry Maguire. He did the Pearl Jam 20 documentary. He's a huge music fan, and so there's no surprise that that this iconic. I'm going to try to share the screen here. Okay, there it is. So this is our banner for today that I put on LinkedIn.
yes, I saw that.
So it's the Say Anything of it. So that's I didn't want to take anybody's copyright over, but that's it. And so the song is In Your Eyes, right, Peter Gabriel? And
Right.
yeah, that's cool. So yeah, let's we got about we'll keep it somewhat short, right? Half hour or so. The topics are open, so we can talk about problems we're having that we might want to solve right here on the call, or is there anything that happened in the past couple weeks that you want to celebrate? Anything that you learned? I will start it off by saying I've been last year I started the year off with. I'm not a fan of using the word resolutions. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of old, and I don't think young people even use that anymore. But I think of more like keywords and stuff that keep me motivated. And so last year was to focus on trying new things, like really try and go all into new things, not just like trying sushi or something like that. But it was like, and so this podcast was born from trying new things. And also the consistency, bro, that Matt, my brother, helped me out with. And so there's several things that I've been doing every single day and every single week and I realized that I had never done that before, committed. So what I do, I take the dog out every morning. One of the things that I do I try to do, not try to do, but all last year and then some of the year before, I take a picture of the trees in my backyard. And so I have like 500 pictures of the same time of the day of the trees in the backyard, which I really love those trees. And so I'm able to do like a little time lapse kind of a thing. And so, yeah. And this year I've been kind of battling around a little bit with what this year will be, but I'm really, really focused on our nonprofit company, the Hospitality Industry Impact Initiative. And very specific there is still trying new things, but really trying to do things that are not currently being done in order to solve our hospitality staffing issues that are persisting. And so that's what that's all about. And I'm focused on engagement. So I'm going to try to be more specific on that. But John, what does your next year look like? What have you been thinking? You're Mr. Optimism here, man. I want to hear what you have to say.
Well, on a personal level, 2023 was a very good year. Set out to accomplish quite a bit on a personal level, because sometimes we don't realize that our personal attributes is a big part of transferring it into the professional portion of it. How can you embody others when you're not there yourself? So I took 2023 to kind of strengthen me in order to be able to help others. And
nice.
And in a physical way, physical, mental, and spiritual way. Some of it is some may be a little selfish, but it helped.
Yeah.
And this year, one of my commitment, and it so happened this morning, I signed up for my second race of the year.
Nice. What's the race, John?
I'm getting back into running. The first one is gonna be a cherry blossom in Washington, D.C., which is a 10-mile run.
Wow.
Yeah, beautiful. 10 miles.
Yeah, 10-mile run through the streets of D.C. It's beautiful. When it's nice out, I've done this race several times. When it's nice out, it's like the best race ever. But you know, April and May is a hit or miss, right? One year, it was so cold. I have to tell this story real quick. We were all in between the Porta Johns trying to get warm before the race. It was like 40, 50 mile an hour wind. Oh. They took down all the banners, all the tents, and just told us to go home after we finished running, and just gave us our medal. That's how bad it is. Then there's other times when it's really beautiful and you're basking in the sun with the cherry blossom. Cherry blossom, that time of the year is so beautiful in Washington, D.C. But looking forward to that. And then I just signed up for Broad Street, the 10-mile Broad Street run. And hopefully later on this year, I do probably a marathon or a half marathon. And these are personal challenges that because for some reason, it keeps me a lot more centered. Because having
some visuals for you, John. I'll let you continue about being centered, but this is yeah, for those who might be on the West Coast or not have experienced the cherry blossoms in Washington, D.C. If you can see this, it is one of the most beautiful.
Got to see it
on your voice. Maybe I don't know if you have another thing open or something.
I'm gonna stop.
I just noticed it.
Sharing. Is that still on?
It's better now. Maybe
I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Is that better?
There's still something happening.
Okay, I'll figure that out, John. You continue with
yes,
spiritual, mental, and physical.
Yes. So and not only that, running for me is not just the physical part of it; is that mental strengthening, because I'll never forget doing my first full marathon, 26.2 miles. Talk about a huge deal, and how much it took to get there. You know, how much training you had to put in, how much, running 4 times a week, at least 4 times a week.
John, did you I'm still hearing an echo, but I wanted to ask you, how many have you run more than one marathon?
Oh yes. Oh yes. So maybe you can go Google my name.
All right.
Do it right now.
Yeah, Google it, put it up. You'll see something there with Fox Chase.
Just your name?
Yeah, John. You remember my name, John?
Yeah, pops right up. Pops right up. Yeah, okay, let me share the screen. Oh, do I remember your name?
Okay.
I'm
So,
not sure what's going on with my mic, but we'll figure it out. I'm going to share the screen again.
so you know, the wife got me into running because she started running and I started getting jealous. Her crossing the finish line all the time. So the one that's there, you see that with that all those little medals around my neck, um, and selfishly, I got a little jealous because I'm there watching everybody come across the finish line, and I'm there with the flowers, waiting for my wife and everything. Then I started running with her, and we started doing race after race. And by the way, the two races that I'm in, she's also signed up for, and then
Nice.
she's doing an all-women's half marathon in New York City. Uh, just I think it's mid-April.
Wow, good for her, man. That's great.
You know, and at my age, running and doing all of this stuff if you see the story is really about the Cancer Research Center. And Adam,
Yes.
I've had my challenges over the years, but it has never stopped me. Because at the end of the day, you got to free the mind and the rest follows.
Yeah.
And that's what I really live for is challenging myself on a daily basis. Because if you don't challenge yourself, how can you challenge others?
Yep.
And in doing that, hopefully you can set an example and have the greatest joy for me to see is, say, like you and I are talking right now, and then tomorrow you turn to me and say, boy, you know what, John, I tried running a mile. And I always tell people, it's not about the 26 miles. Just try 1 mile, one direction, and without no money in your pocket, so you don't have to take a cab back and run the other way back. You just did 2 miles. And as you keep going, you increase it. And before you know it, you're doing a 3-mile run.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. So, we always focus on the professional side, trying to get to a level in the professional side. I think we need to start with the personal side. And it generally propels into the professional arena. What do you think?
I think you're
I
right.
agree.
On.
Matt's big into fitness, and I'm still hearing my echo, but I'm going to throw in there that I'm sure Matt has some physical and mental comparisons too, because he's big into Spartan races and things like that. I don't know the benefits that Matt has seen too.
Oh,
you
yeah.
Understand me? Or is it? I need to. And what I'm going to do, bro, I'm going to exit the studio and then come back in. So you guys go ahead, okay?
All right.
Okay. We'll see if it's still there.
So, Matt,
Yeah.
I don't know. Every time I cross the finish line, I feel like crying.
That's a big deal, man. I still on the top of this thing. It's an 8.5 minute mile. See, we're getting the thing for me. It's probably on my side. I think it's my issue. Trying to get my brother out.
So you kicked your brother out, telling him it was him.
I think it's on my side, bro.
It could be mine. I've been fiddling with some stuff. So let's do this. I'm going to leave the studio in case it stops our recording, and I don't know if it will.
No. Adam, you're good. I think Matt's right. It's on him.
Matt, do you have a tab open with like LinkedIn or YouTube or Instagram or Facebook?
No, I'm getting. I think it's you and me. You're both an issue because if you're, I get a little bit on me, but I also hear it on you. Even when I'm on mic, I'm mute.
So, Adam, you just named a bunch of things that I had this huge. I woke up this morning and was really, really kind of taken aback. Even I don't know if this is a forum for it, but this is anything goes today, right?
Anything goes.
All right.
Go for it.
I was a little taken aback that Mark Zuckerberg had to turn around and face a bunch of parents apologizing.
I
And the reason why that bothered me was because there's a button on this phone. If I don't like what you guys are saying right now, what do I do? Or what I'm saying, what do I do?
Yeah, you can mute us.
Mute it.
Or shut it down, right?
Or you could shut it down or leave. Right.
Leave. We have options.
Yeah.
We have options. And we have kids. We all have kids, right?
Yeah.
How do you go about monitoring your kid? Do you try to do it from when they're a year, 2 years old, it's paving the way, or do you try to do it at the teenager?
For
If you try,
Got to do it day one.
Day one.
Yeah, all the time.
Day one.
Live it.
Right. It's a routine every day. You can't listen. You got to limit yourself, right? So sometimes it bothers me that we don't look at ourselves in the mirror.
We have to.
Look at ourselves in the mirror. Stop trying to point fingers. There's a don't get me wrong, very tragic ending. But we need to understand our role in the tragic endings. And that's what bothers me more than anything else.
The look in the mirror is where all the answers are.
Yes, because listen, these platforms can be used for what we're doing right now.
That's right.
We're not bullying anyone, right? So it's how you use these platforms.
And even the term platform is changed in, I would say, the last 2 years. And I heard, and since we're saying anything, and I don't know why this bothers me, but whenever I hear or I read in all of the news, so-and-so was quoted on a podcast as saying blank. And whereas just probably 5 or plus years ago, it wasn't like that because people were not quoted on podcasts. They were quoted by official journalists that have, essentially signed an oath to provide context, to make sure they quote it properly and spell it properly and tell the story properly. So even someone who there's not many people I hold in higher regard than Barack Obama. Okay, so even when I hear Barack Obama was on so-and-so's podcast and he was quoted as saying blank, and then 50% attacks him and 50% supports it, maybe, whereas before it was Barack Obama was, even after his presidency, Barack Obama was quoted as saying this to a journalist. And I think these platforms are beautiful, wonderful. We've had one now, 37 episodes, and I think that we're doing a pretty good job at allowing voices to come out. But some of the things that we have said, I am sure can be quoted and taken out of context. Even putting a song over here, mentioning Cyndi Lauper. Maybe there's one person out of 1,000 that doesn't like Cyndi Lauper, and they just why are they promoting Cyndi Lauper? She used to hang out with Captain Lou Albano in wrestling. Wrestling is horrible for our culture and it's violent. Well, it's like, what just happened?
Exactly. And that's the society we're in today, where it's so fickle. So fickle. greed, ambition, and here's the other one. Greed, ambition, and greed and ambition just can kill a good society.
Mm. You mentioned selfishness. And I think everyone needs to. I think the term, the connotation of that word, has also different meanings to people because there is, I don't know, maybe the way that we grew up. Don't be selfish. Oh, that person's just a selfish kid. He or she is spoiled and selfish. But just like you said, John, last year, and I hope this year too, we all need to spend time to be selfish because that is when you put the mirror on yourself and say, what am I doing? What do I want in life? And am I going about it in the right way? Is it a constant struggle? How do I need to change in order to get the things that I want in life? Zig Ziglar said you can get whatever you want in life as long as you help enough other people get what they want. And it's never enough. It's not a tactic. And so I think also, I'm glad that you didn't say selfishness, John, because as a negative, because I think it can very much be a positive. I think people should spend time thinking about selfishness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It can be a positive when used the right way.
Mm.
The wonderful thing that we still can hope for is that we parent well and watch our kids and grandkids, because I'm on the other end of it. I'm 6 grandkids deep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something, guys. If you think you love your kids, you don't.
Another level.
You don't love them until you see a grandchild. That's when it's like 50 million times over.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But the wonderful thing about this thing called life is that if you stop and instead of just keep going and reflect, yeah, we didn't have a great month. So what? It's not the end of the world, but let's sit down and see what we could have done differently.
Mm-hmm.
Not better.
Yeah.
Because sometimes
and really talk about it.
Yes, let's talk about it. What we could have done differently.
That's it.
Called a postmortem.
Yes, but don't put the word better in the mix. Just what we could have done differently. Because when we put better in the mix, it makes it sound like almost failure.
Yep. Yeah.
But the failure is not to act. That's where failure is.
Yeah, it's so important. The action. You gotta apply it.
Yeah. Because
you can make somebody feel bad for doing something that they were just trying to be creative. It doesn't mean that you were wrong. It doesn't mean that that happens way too much in John, our industry tells where some amazingly creative person comes up with a great idea, just not in the budget, and so somehow they just think that's a negative. They're even bringing it up. It happens time after time, and then all of a sudden that person's not going to be saying anything at the next meeting, and that's sad. I think. Go ahead, John.
Replace words. Replace words. Be a little bit more cognizant of how you approach it.
Replace in a group, words, so instead of better.
Yeah. How could we have done different and get the results that we were looking for.
I like
Because
that.
so much emphasis is put it on winning or losing.
Way too much.
Way too much.
Way too much, because it's you think about how many times somebody goes, a Major League Baseball season has 162 games, right? And you get at bat 3 or 4 times. And so what? You strike out 7 times in a row and it makes the headlines. It's like, yeah, I had a bad couple games, man. Take it easy. It doesn't mean that I was the reason why we lost, or won. It's a marathon. It's a marathon.
Sorry.
Just like you said, John. It's I like what you talked about with running a marathon, because life is a marathon, and there if you focus on even if you focus too much on the wins, that can be a negative thing, because then all of a sudden, like, what happens if you lose? Does that mean it's a negative? No, it's just, what happens if you fall down during a marathon?
You get up or you crawl to the finish.
Yeah, you get up. Yeah, right. You get up. You get knocked down. You get up and keep going. Right. You see, one of the things I like about running, though, is it's individual, but in a group setting, it can be so much fun.
John, you used to. I don't jump onto Facebook that much anymore, and I should. But you used to do those live runs, man. I used to watch you. You'd be running and talking at the same time, and I loved it, man. And I was like, "How is he even talking?" I'd be out of breath 5 minutes ago. But yeah, do you still do that?
I'm about to start it back up, but you know what? One of the reasons I was doing that at the time was preparing myself mentally for what I needed to do, which was, at that time when I was doing that, I was diagnosed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to go through my 3rd surgery for cancer. And I wanted to prove to myself, and not hopefully encourage others, that a diagnosis doesn't stop your mindset, your thinking, and everything. And what you need to do is power through it. So my last surgery, I ran the same race. I had surgery February 18th. I ran a 10-mile race in the beginning of April.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Almost 2.5 weeks after I had 24 staples removed from my. But it was a journey, whereas prior to the surgery, I had months of preparation physically. And I was almost the fittest I've ever been. It was like a daily run. But I think when you have a goal and you're determined to get there, you just condition your mind to overcome every single obstacle. It's not easy.
Mm-mm. You have
It's not
to
easy.
fully commit.
Commit.
Where
That's
it's
a great word.
once you make that decision, it's just happening. There is no decision not to do it anymore.
And Adam, every step I took, I put. There was this other young man that was on the journey with me, and he passed. But every step I took after that was for him.
That's beautiful, John.
It was
That's
for
nice.
him.
Thanks for sharing that. That's nice.
You know, and again, this is what I think for me, it was to get back to, because we are easily committed to a pity party. Oh, poor me. Oh, this or that. So,
John, in 3 days, it will be my 20th anniversary of being closed up after my 3rd surgery after severe ulcerative colitis and a total colectomy. So I am without a colon for now 20 years, and Dr. Achi was my surgeon.
Yep.
So he is since retired, but I wanted to. I'm not going to go into. Maybe I'll talk about that on another episode. But what you did before you knew that you were going into these surgeries, I was much younger. Obviously, I was under 30 when I was about 28 when I first got sick, right?
Mhm.
And leading up to that, I was not mentally strong. I used to think that I was. I really did at that time think that I was mentally strong. But then it hit me like a ton of bricks, and tried to get better, knocked down, get picked back up. And the process up until it got really bad when I was forced to have some emergency surgeries, only then was I fully prepared for what was going to come, because I had dealt with about a year and a half worth of, for the first time ever, a very severe illness that I never really had to deal with before personally, right? And so I did, and it made me stronger, but I didn't know that I was becoming stronger in order to take on what's next. And I look back now, I've been doing a lot of looking back during that time, and I do think a little bit about what I could have done differently. And I'm glad that you said that about better. Couldn't have done anything better. I mean, it's not about being better. It's about, sure, I could have done a lot of things differently, but at the same time, wow, it gave me a perspective that I never had before. And and then after it happened, you said a pity party? Looking back, and that was around the time that you and I met, a couple years afterwards, right? But I was going through, I had never, for many years, I didn't process what I had gone through. And it came out in some negative ways, I think. And uh, I felt some negative emotions during that time that I had never felt before. And it was, you call it a pity party? Yeah, I was having a little bit of a pity party at different times, right? Sometimes it was a level 10 pity party. And sometimes it wasn't that much, and that lasted for many years. And then I realized, and I was told that I had some sort of PTSD for going through that, and I never processed it. And then I went on that path to put that mirror on myself, right? And just like you said, John, but thanks for sharing that, because that's particularly about, I didn't know that you were preparing for that, as I was watching you. And I will tell you that these platforms that we have, even if one person watches you like me, and I know that you have a great following, many more people, but even if it was just me, right, watching you, you're doing it. You're not doing it for me, but man, you can change my life just by watching you, and then now listening to you. I've been saying for about almost 50 years now that I'm going to start running, because I think that I would be a good runner. I would get into that, but I just never have. I've always done biking instead, or other things, push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, and stuff like that, and talk myself out of running. But I'm going to commit here that I'm going to try something to get me out on the road this year. I don't know what it is, but I'm thinking about this year. You're inspiring me, man. At least once I'll get out there and I'll think about you, and thank you. So
you have to turn the camera on. Send it to John.
Yeah. So here's this. Listening to you, Adam, the one thing I realize in life, gratitude has no timeline.
You're right.
Gratitude has no timeline. Nice.
It's when you see, you're now appreciating what you went through all those years ago. But when you're that young, part of the problem is we're so invincible. And we don't stop and take it in what we are gonna undergo.
Yep.
We just kept going, right?
Yep. And until it takes time, like I wish I could do some analysis on my LinkedIn, postings, and I've always done since 2008 a lot of postings. Right, these are my thoughts, and probably more so in the last 5 years because I don't work for a particular company, right? So I'm more free, which I think everybody should be, but I'm not attached to a certain supervisor that's maybe sensitive to what I'm saying. So, but I just know for a fact that the hashtag gratitude, it just comes out of me more in the last couple years than it ever has. And the word gratitude, and it has to do some books I've read, but it's just a feeling, and it's like, I think another one that just the term forgiveness, keeps popping up in my life recently, and not recently in the last year, but in the last 5 years. I've had a beautiful life, right? And I think for many of those years, I didn't think that I had to forgive anyone. I wasn't really mad at anybody. But then once I really, really thought about it, I was like, man, I think I am being bothered by this person or this thought or this event in my life, and I had to process it. And so, and sometimes it's forgiving myself, with for having made a decision that I was just otherwise not happy with, right? So, forgiveness, gratitude, those words are they're everywhere on like all these platforms, but really, man, it takes time. Like you said, gratitude has no, would you say gratitude has no timeline?
Has no timeline.
Forgiveness does not either. And
Right.
I just watched Invictus with my son about Nelson Mandela and the South Africa apartheid, and Matt Damon plays the rugby captain.
Right.
And that forgiveness is very much in there. After 27 years in jail, and Mandela comes out and immediately forgives, and it's given me chills. And so I would say anybody needs to watch that if you're ever thinking of that you're whatever you're going through is too much, and you or someone that's that you feel is pushing you down. Woo! Watch that movie.
It's canny. You just mentioned one of my heroes. And
You mean Matt Damon or
no. You're right. We think we have it tough, right?
Mhm.
So I'm not sure if this story is true. Some people have debunked it and so on and so forth. But when he became president, he wanted to go out for lunch, just like a normal guy. And his security went with him. And he walked into this restaurant, and there was this man sitting in the restaurant. And the man was just in shock and almost like cold sweat coming over this man. Turned out, long story short, it was one of his jailers.
Wow.
And he sat down and had lunch. And the man could hardly eat the food. And this was the same guy, this same man that was peeing on him.
Wow.
And when the guy left, his security asked him, why didn't you do something about this now? And I think he said something like, I'm now free and he's in prison.
That's right.
Yep.
The worst imprisonment is here.
Yep.
John, you were the first person to highlight the line of Redemption Song for me with Bob Marley. And
yes. Oh yes.
Emancipate yourself from mental slavery.
Mental slavery.
You pointed that out, and that I used to think that I was a big Bob Marley fan, but to this entire point of our conversation, once I went deeper into really thinking about you and some of the things that you went through and what we went through together, it allowed me to go deeper and to think about lyrics like that, music. Why do we do the things we do? What does it mean? and rather than just assuming, you know what I mean? And
It's true. I got to hop, bro, to another
okay,
meeting.
we can.
I enjoyed
we can
today's
go.
session.
John's got an entire city to go run. Over
Yes,
there.
and listen, we started off with music, and we're gonna end it with music, right?
Boop, boop, boop.
Boop. All right. Thanks, guys. It was a pleasure.
I'll put the on 5 seconds.
Here we go.
Little bit of
More
music.
Love it.
All right.
Love you, John. Good to see you, man. Love you, bro.
Love you guys.
All right.
Have a great
Have a good one.
See
afternoon.
y'all again soon. Thank you.
Thanks.